It's time for the BBR Pokemon Draft League playoffs. My team, the LA Wakers, is taking on OGalbina and the Carolina Roaring Moon. This will be a rematch since we played previously in week 2. Back then I won, but I had Terra Ghost Espathra, and this time I'm locked to either Terra Fighting or Psychic. I consider his team to be the best in the league. He has an Iron Moth that can Terrasilize into a Fire or Water type, Great Tusk, the most used Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, a Rotom Wash for Momentum and Volt Switch, a Breloom to throw off strong Technician boosted Mach Punches, and a Gothitelle that can use Shadow Tag to trap my team. So the first Pokemon I decided to bring was a Chople Berry Meowscarada. This allows me to take a Mach Punch from Breloom or even a Scarf Adamant close combat and knock it out with Play Rough because of my Protean ability. Flower Trick is awesome for Great Tusk as well as Iron Moth if it terrasilizes into a Water type, and Knock Off is great for getting rid of items like Heavy Duty Boots, which works really well with my Spikes. I went Jolly Nature 132 Speedy Vs to outspeed an Iron Moth trying to speed creep an Iron Treads, and as I mentioned earlier, the 24 HP Vs and 100 defensive Vs allowed me to take a Mach Punch from Breloom as well as close combat. I went Max Attack just for overall damage. I have my Spikes, so now it's time for my Stealth Rock. Iron Treads was next. This is my Rapid Spinner just in case my opponent brings Fortress. I have Endeavor because if I get low enough at HP, I can wear down Pokemon like Rotom and Great Tusk, mons that Iron Treads isn't usually supposed to be. Steel Beam works with this to get me low, but also to work as a spin blocker, so that way if I die, Pokemon like Fortress and Great Tusk cannot Rapid Spin. I went with a Rocky Helmet to punish Rapid Spins, but also break Breloom's Sash if it goes for Mach Punch. I went with a Timid Nature since Steel Beam is my main form of damage. 96 Speedy Vs allow me to outspeed Max Speed Rotom, and the 212 Special Defense Vs and 200 HP Vs allow me to take a Max Special Attack Hydro Pump, but also a Fiery Dance from Iron Moth. With both Stealth Rock and Spike and my opponent having 2 Rapid Spinners, I wanted a Spin Blocker, so Miss Magius was next. I went fully physically defensive with a Bold Nature, Max HP, Max Defense, and 4 Special Defense with a Rocky Helmet. This allows me to basically shut down Fortress, as it will never be able to kill me with Gyro Ball and Rapid Spin away my hazards, using Rocky Helmet to break it sturdy. This also lets me take Knock Off from Great Tusk, and if I'm faster, threaten it with Shadow Ball or even Destiny Bond to pick up the KO. Mystical Fire is obviously for Fortress, and Thunder Wave is just in case my opponent's Iron Moth wants to get cheeky. I can slow it down. It's also naturally faster than both Adamant Breloom and a Great Tusk, only looking to outspeed my Sylveon. Speaking of Sylveon, we are going full-on support this week with Light Clay, Reflect, Light Screen, Wish, and Baton Pass. Sylveon's main role is to come in on the special attackers like Scream Tail or Rotom Wash, tank the hits, and set up screens. It can Wish support for my team, and by Baton Passing, it can get in my teammates safely. I'm using Q-Charm this week because I have no attack, so there's no point in Pixelate, and who knows, maybe if a physical Pokemon like Great Tusk or Talonflame touch me, they might fall in love. With a Calm Nature, 248 HP EVs, and 244 Special Defense EVs, I don't die to Sludge Wave from Iron Moth, and I can set up a Light Screen. I just went with 16 Speed EVs just in case something like Ursaring wants to try and speed creep a min speed Sylveon, letting me get off a last ditch effort Reflect or Light Screen versus it. I went dual screens this week because I am finally using Stored Power Espathra after 8 weeks of using Lumina Crash. Espathra is extremely deadly for my opponent. Yes, they have Scream Tail that can shrug off a lot of its hits, but even Scream Tail can be worn down by hazards and has to fear a potential Lumina Crash set, so that makes Stored Power even more deadly. Flash Cannon lets me hit Scream Tail for super effective damage, but also Hydreigon for neutral damage, because we are using Terra Psychic Stored Power, not Terra Fighting this week. Calm Mind to boost my stats and Roost for longevity alongside Leftovers. With 72 Speed EVs, I outspeed Breloom. With a Modest Nature and 128 Special Attack EVs, I can 2-hit KO Specially Defensive Scream Tail with Flash Cannon as long as I'm +2 and Spike is up. And if I am +2 in Special Defense, the 224 Special Defense EVs and 84 HP EVs allow me to take 2 Dark Pulses from Hydreigon. This also lets me set up on Iron Moth easier, especially if Light Screen is up. And after a few boosts, Stored Power is way stronger than Flash Cannon anyway versus Scream Tail, but I wanted to be safe. There was no way I was leaving Palafin at home for what could be my final Draft League game. And this week we're going all out offensive with a Choice Band Adamant Palafin. Palafin hits my opponent's team incredibly hard and also forces my opponent's Iron Moth to Terrasilize into a Water type, which still doesn't take Jet Punch well at all. Flip Turn gives me momentum, and Close Combat gives me a means of dealing with Rotom. But Wave Crash is still so incredibly powerful that if Stealth Rock are up, even Rotom will be 2-hit KO'd. And with screen support from Sylveon, this is a really good check to Screamtail, who can't do much damage back. I went max attack, adamant, and speed because it allows me to outspeed a max speed Rotom. So that's my team for this week of the BBR. If you do enjoy Pokemon Draft League, I encourage you to leave a like and also subscribe to my channel, as I upload competitive Pokemon every single day. And if I win this battle, you'll have another Draft League game next week. Either way, I'll definitely be joining another Draft League when Pokemon Home comes out. I want to give a big shout out to Zazo, Dylan, Envy, Mephisto, Tone, and Maverick Shooters for the help this week. And I also encourage you to check out my opponent Owen. He's a great battler and very entertaining. I've held you up long enough, so let's get right into the battle. Alright, so here we are with my playoff game. Have fun, bro. We have my playoff game here versus Owen. Make sure you check him out. And also, if you're enjoying this content, make sure you let me know by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Just going to write down his team real quick. Screamtail. There's a Talonflame. It's probably Gale Wings with boots. I could be wrong, though. Rotom Wash. Breloom. Goth. Gothitelle. Great Tusk. And Talonflame. Okay, so a few things. When I see Breloom, I always leave Meowscarada. That's like kind of my forever thing. I'm just also putting his team on Pokemon Showdown too, just to have to search up like movesets or anything as well. Breloom. Alright. Gothitelle. Great Tusk. And one more big Talonflame. But yeah, so we're going to lead off with our Protean Choppleberry Meowscarada. Just in case it's Sash Lead Loom. Palafin looks really good. Espatha looks good in the end game. No Iron Moth. So that actually opens up Sylveon a lot to just set up screens in this game. But we'll see how it ends up going. But have fun to my opponent, of course. Make sure you sub. And like I said, also, if you want to pick up my Draco Shaker, we've sold over 600 units of this so far. You can support me. Use code AIM. Pick it up down below. But let's see how this goes. Good luck to Owen. Oh, I said good luck. I never say that. I always say have fun. But, got some water right here, and let's get it. Oh, we got the nice sunlight. Cassidy is Breloom, if I remember correctly. Okay, so that is lead Breloom. It could be Sash, could be Scarf. I live Scarf close combat adamant because I am EV to do so. And I am Protean, so I believe I always click Play Rough. Just always click Play Rough here. Even if he Bullet Seeds, Predicting Mismagius, this is still absolutely my play. Could go Talonflame as well. But, I mean, I brought this lead for this. Did we miss? Did we miss? We landed. Breloom's down to its Sash. Awesome. Sash. Maybe he Spores? He went for Bullet Seed, anticipating me to do this. Let's see how many hits he got. 3, 4. 3 hits. Perfect. Alright, so. Meowscarada. I am Grass. Mach Punch. No. I am Fairy right now. Let me make myself a Fairy type just to see if I take a Mach Punch at all. Mach Punch does 63 to 64%. I really do want to try and get a Spike Up with this thing. So I do have Ivory to bring it out as well on the Mach Punch. And take a good chunk from that. Is that a good play? I think I'll just go for Spike and let him Mach Punch me. I'm not going to bring out Ivory because I can bring out Ivory right after. So I don't get Spikes, which is unfortunate, but I think that Rocks are just as good in this game, if not better. Okay, so we're going to bring out Ivory here, and we are going to get up Stealth Rock just for Rotom to try to kind of wear it down. Again, the Screamtail matchup is a little bit rougher, but we do get up Stealth Rock here. I can see him Mach Punching. If he tries to Spore, great play. Again, I do live, and this Mon is basically here for this Pokemon, and also to live a hit from Rotom as well, and kind of just endeavor it and go from there. He could, just like I said, throw it away. He does go for the Mach Punch, so Rocky Helmet's going to come in clutch there. It is going to knock him out. Breloom is gone. And then we are going to get up our Stealth Rock here. So, I'm assuming, because Rocks are up, he may go Great Tusk. Breloom's gone. Meowscarada's gone. This is okay. This is calculated early. That was a really good Bullet Seed. In some games, I actually clicked Flower Trick in mocks just to guarantee. Just to kind of guarantee a kill. But in terms of switching into this, I'm going to simply Endeavor. He may knock off, but getting this thing down to 50% is amazing for a spot threat. He does knock off. Perfect. Perfect. Does a ton to me. And then we basically have this Mon in Shadow Ball range. Even if he double knockoffs, I am going to go out into my Miss Magius here. I'm going to bring out my Miss Magius. If he double knockoffs, that's fine. I have Rocky Helmet. I knock it out with Shadow Ball. Basically, I wanted Rocks up and I wanted this Pokemon gone, because that opens up my Palafin just in case it was Rindo. He does try and go for Rapid Spin there. Perfect. He may be Assault Vest, so he may end up taking this hit, but that's okay because we do end up going for the Shadow Ball right here if he's not Assault Vest. I'm assuming he's going to be slower than me. I could be wrong about this, though, but I'm assuming he'll be slower. And that Endeavor is going to be so clutch in the late game, too. And there's a chance that we actually end up keeping our Stealth Rock up in this game, too, in case Talonflame is not defog. But yeah, I can definitely Endeavor. So I am faster. We don't pick up the KO because it is Assault Vest. However, I always live a knockoff with, yep. And we get that Rocky Helmet kill. So that's the second Rocky Helmet kill. Perfect. So Great Tusk is gone. Braylon is gone. I'm assuming Rotom may come out to click Hydro Pump or Volt Switch around on me. Tracer is the Rotom. Yep. I'm going to bring out my my Sylveon on this. It's basically my guaranteed switch. We get Rocks damage on that. That's going to be amazing as well for the late game. I can see him Hydro Pumping. Volt Switch definitely does not knock me out. I'm going to say 87%. 87% on Rotom. Again, every bit of chip on Rotom is going to go a long way. And the less Pokemon he has, the easier it is for me. Because Palafin looks insane in this late game. So there's Thunderbolt, which definitely doesn't knock me out. Perfect. That is 0. 393 to 327. Let me write that calc real quick. Rotom Wash. Thunderbolt. 73. Yeah. So that's like no special attack. Cool. So that's a free light screen here. Rotom can't do anything. I'm going to assume it's Choice Scarf, but it's going to be taking some nice damage. If Gothitelle comes out, I can trick on that. This is Talonflame, I think? Yeah, we're getting these nicknames down pat. We'll see if he's default on Talonflame, but if not, I'm going to get up a Reflect as well and then try and go from there. Basically, it is Boots. It is Boots. Okay. It is Boots as expected. It is Swords Dance Boots as well. So what we're going to do here is we're going to Baton Pass. Always. Baton Pass right here, always. Into our, we're going to Baton Pass into our Palafin just to get it activated, right? We're going to Baton Pass into Palafin to get it activated. Then we're going to sack it. What we're going to do is we're going to sack ourselves. We're going to sack our, I think we sack our Ivory there. So we go Palafin just to get it activated. We know we're Choice Band. We're going to be hitting extremely hard with this Pokemon. We have screens up. He's going to go for the Gale Wings Brave Bird for sure. I want to say the play is to sack my... This blocks Vultures, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah, the play is sack Ivory here. So I'm assuming it's going to be Gale Wings Brave Bird. They could SD again. They could Willow as well. But as long as I get in Ivory and as long as I break its Gale Wings, which is what I'm assuming it is, I should be in a good spot. So we know it's SD. T-Bolt. SD Talonflame. So there's a Brave Bird. We have successfully broken those Gale Wings because of recoil. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Successfully, we've broken those Gale Wings. And that should allow me to get in my Palafin in right now. That should allow Palafin in. And obviously we can threaten it with the Jet Punch. I do have Reflect up though. Hold up. Do I want to make a crazy play for no reason? Let me see. Talonflame +4 with Reflect. It actually always kills me. Okay, I'm assuming they're going to go Rotom, but this is still my best play to Jet Punch. Always. Yep. All right, we do not predict in this situation. We always try and go for that kill there. I believe they're Gale Wings, so I don't think I'll get burnt this turn. Nice, unless there's lag. Talonflame is gone, perfect. You knock it out with Jet Punch. We're looking very good because it looks like if they go Rotom and I'm in a good spot, because I can always go Sylveon and Baton Pass to keep up momentum versus my opponent's team. If they go Gothitelle, this is adamant, and again, it's going to do a lot. So there's Rotom. We bring out my Sylveon on Goth or anything, and then I always have an adamant Choice Band Wave Crash to put in work there. So Talonflame's gone. Screamtail, Rotom is at another 60-something%. They do end up tricking me though, which actually works out in my favor, I think. I believe that works out in my favor. Because them getting Light Clay doesn't give them any recovery, so we know that they're Trick. We knew they were Scarf most likely, and they have Volt Switch and all that stuff. So Battle, Baton Pass always, nothing to think about. They do Volt Switch, so I get momentum this turn, which is amazing. I get a lot of momentum this turn. And the thing is, with Rocks up, Pokemon like Screamtail are not counters. So as long as I have my Palafin up, and I'm always faster than max speed Rotom. I don't think they're max speed. I think they're a bulky variant with no special attack EVs just based on the Thunderbolt damage on Sylveon. But Palafin is basically always a giant threat. There's Mercy. So that's Screamtail. That's Screamtail. Screamtail looks amazing coming in after a Levitator. So this is really good because I have a few options here. I think my best option is to actually bring out you because Screens is up instead of going Palafin, because if I Thunder Wave this, it has a shot at not mooing. They also have no Shadow Ball switching either. But if I Thunder Wave this, I'm assuming it might be Covert Cloak. Let me just Shadow Ball. Even if it's Weakness Policy, I think Palafin will check it too. And they don't have Shadow Ball switching, so I think that's always better. The fact that they're always taking Stealth Rock as well, so they're always 2-hit KO'd by Flash Cannon now boosted. Goth might come out, Rotom might come out and take some damage. There's Rotom coming in. Again, the water resists are looking weaker and weaker. I think this Rotom is so defensive, by the way, that it's not going to be able to outspeed me, even though it was Choice Scarf Pride, because I'm a really defensive set, obviously. So my Light Screen Warrior is off, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we're going to go for another Shadow Ball here. It does outspeed me, however, and Volt Switch actually does take me out. However, they are in range now. They are in range now of my Jet Punch, so that's really big. That is really big. I'm going to put Jet Punch range. Jet Punch range. Also, Screamtail dies to Wave Crash, so I'm not sure. They have to be really bulky to live Wave Crash from Screamtail. There's a Reflect Up. I mean, I have Palafin at full, and Palafin's always my play, right? I always go Palafin and I always click Wave Crash. Let me see their set from last time. Screamtail, max HP, 80 defense, I believe was what they had last time. Wave Crash was 80 to 94, so that's 2 Stealth Rock switch-ins. I should be faster as well, unless they are, right? Great thing, right? I should be faster unless they are. But I always click Wave Crash here, and then I Wave Crash. Their Bulk Up. Ooh, okay, I see you. Bulk Up. Envy uses versus me. Jeez, that does so much damage. That did so much damage. No freaking way you kill me with anything, dude. I don't give a damn. I am Palafin. God Palafin. I could technically switch, but I don't want them to be Resto Chesto. And if they are, I will switch after. But you don't kill me with crap, man. No way. No freaking way. That's them taking that after a bulk up, by the way. It's funny, Envy actually uses versus me in practice. There's a play rough. Does nothing to me. So they're going to die. If Goth ends up being faster than me, then that means it's Choice Scarf, which means I get to Calm Mind up with a Spothler and I beat it 1v1. That's the only way Goth can be faster. Otherwise, Choice Band Palafin is going to get 2 kills here. So Screamtail dies. They even need to be faster, man. That was interesting. Like, and Envy uses versus me, and I just beat it 1v1. Oh, I'm sorry, my friend. Rotom is dead. I'm sorry, my friend. Rotom is not faster than me. Goodbye. Goodbye, Rotom. You deserve a good run. I did not run bulk on this at all. I went max speed to be faster than Rotom. Goodbye, Rotom. You deserve a good rest. Wave Crash time. One more game. One more Mon. If this Gothitelle is not Scarf, it's over. If this Gothitelle is not Scarf, it is over. Gothitelle. If it is not Scarf, it's over. Also, I think Scarf Shadow Ball doesn't even KO me. Let's do Gothitelle. Let's make it Scarf and put Shadow Ball, just in case. Because that would be the move you have to lock into. I can't switch. I don't even know what I'm calculating for, but I'm just trying to figure out, you know, you always do this. 94% max if it's timid. And it's not, which means Adamant Choice Band Palafin puts me into semifinals of the BBR. Palafin kill Rotom, Screamtail, Gothitelle, and Talonflame in this. Go. Absolute go. The other two Mons were dead to Rocky Helmet, which is amazing. So your boy makes it to semifinals. What was the point of bringing Store Power Espathra? I didn't even get to use it. No! Oh, man. Well, there you go. Espathra once again sitting on the bench, but your boy makes it to semis of the BBR, which means one more week of Draft League, guys. One more. Just tearing up this paper because I don't need it no more. Even though it had every single kill I got, whatever. One more week of Draft League, guys. One more week of Draft League. So I understand the Rotom coming in because last time I did run not max speed on Palafin. And it obviously, you know, allowed me to tank Iron Moth. But they basically brought exactly what I thought they'd bring. It's really funny that they had a bulk up Screamtail, though, as a means of dealing with, I'm assuming, Espathra. Probably with Covert Cloak. Because Envy used that to me versus me as well, and then he got Stored Powered in practice. But thank you guys for supporting me this far. We make it semifinals. It means we either play J-Bear or Mephisto on this side. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. Again, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, use code AIM to pick up my Draco Shaker. I'm going to hit up Owen real quick so we can do a post-game interview. It's his last game of the season, and I am blessed to be able to do one more. Go ahead and check him out, guys, if you haven't, and I'll see you in a sec on his side. Well, in the interview. Peace, guys. All right, we are here with the post-game interview. I got my boy Owen with me. Guys, please subscribe to him. Great Draft League content. Also puts up, like, really cool stuff, like, oh, what do you think about this Pokemon in Draft League? Oh, what do you think about this one? Or this is the best set to use. A whole lot of stuff. A whole lot of great content on his channel. So, Owen, what was your thought process going into this rematch? I know the only change we both had was me having a different Terra on Espathra. That was the only change that we both had since week 2, I believe, right?
Which is crazy because it made so much of a difference in prep. Like, that change alone, at least with me, in my building process, it changed a ton. It made the Luminacrest set a lot less scary, which you brought the Stored Power set, which is kind of the reason behind the Psych Up Gothitelle to hopefully slow it down. And I really did expect Parapsychic as well, because fighting just like let it get revenge by a lot of my team that it wouldn't have gotten
basically
by otherwise.
Yeah, Gale Wing's Talonflame 100%. That's why that's why it was kind of free for me to bring out what's it called, Palafin on Talonflame, because I mean you either attack me or don't, and even if you don't, I bring out my Ivory, and then I either go for Endeavor or Rapid Spin and Steel. You see my set, right? It was basically designed to weaken either Fortress or Great Tusk. And I mean, you see my Miss Magus is literally max. I zoomed so fast on that Showdown builder with this Pokemon.
Which is crazy that knockoff still did that much, and it wasn't even max attack.
Oh yeah.
It did a ton of damage, but yeah, no, I mean, I figured as much, being that it lived the knock, and that was kind of, and also the fact that I didn't die to Shadow Ball from there with AV.
Oh yes,
you needed to be like pretty darn invested to kill me from there, so I was like, oh, okay, we're fine. If it's Culver, I pop a Culver. If it's like a Rocky Helmet or something, like maybe even a Leftovers or something, because I played a lot of Miss Mags and Mox, whether it be Culvers, Rocky Helmets, or even just like offensive nasty plot sets. Yeah. It was nice to get damage on it because it was really, really scary and hard for me to revenge with this team. Yeah. But yeah, in general, biggest threats is I really struggled in the lead and finding out what I wanted to do. I tested so many things. I tested like lead Toxic Orb Bear. I tested out Talonflame for a little bit. Yeah. Well, the idea, and you didn't bring Band, but I thought Band was pretty viable here. Fortress almost came for the Espathra as like some, Covert Cloak Spadef set, but it also just got bullied by Calm Mind, and that wasn't good. Yeah. So I ended up scrapping that. And because I had extra on the team, I tried Bear. I was like super fizz def in order to live anything. But if you were banded low kick, I died. So I tried to cover as many bases as humanly possible with the lead Breloom, because it didn't have a great speed tier in the matchup, but when it got in, it was put in a pretty good position.
Yeah.
And I felt like I could pretty freely click a Bullet Seed turn 1, or if Lucha was in the back, I could click a pretty free aerial ace or something.
Makes sense. Yeah, so actually, if you go to my Masquerade EVs, it's EV to take Adamant, Scarf, Close Combat, and also obviously Mach Punch. Yeah, with the Chopple. Now, funnily enough, my first test game versus MV Mach punched me. And then my second test game, he decided to do what's not helpful and know my sets while playing. And goes for Bullet Seed, but I, knowing my friend Envy, went for Flower Trick turn 1 on his Bullet Seed, and he still couldn't kill me with Mach Punch after, just because of my defense EVs. So I was like, I didn't say it in the video.
Really debating?
Yeah, I didn't say it in the video, but I knew based on practice, I was like, okay, what do I do here? But I remembered it doesn't matter, because even if Masquerade dies, I put Rocky Helmet on Iron Treads for a reason, right? And it's really hard, I think, for you to not want to Mach Punch my Iron Treads for damage, to open up Goth, to open up Screen Tail, to make Rotom's life easier, etc.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I sat there for a second and I was like, well, it's either like Chopple and choose this, and like, or it's like some kind of Rocky Helmet set, but the Mach is good. Like, I can bulldoze, but that's a psychopath play, and I don't get anything out of it if you're not like Helmet, or you just Earthquake me or something like that, because I am so low. Because it could even just be a rationale of like, I max, Fizz Def Miss Magius and don't outspeed, and I don't want to take Mach Punch on anything else. Or anything like that. So, or I mean, I guess you could have gone Finn as well. But even then, if you're going into the test, I don't know. So I felt like I kind of had him off, and I was like, dang it. But yeah, no, it was a good way of kind of neutralizing the Breloom, because that was kind of my main way of hopefully getting out on the right foot immediately. It was nice preventing a spike though, because I think a spike would have made that game
really good.
Impossible.
Yeah, really, yeah.
I would have made that game impossible.
I was really debating going into my Miss Magius, right, on the Mach Punch after, and then but the risk was, okay, if he's Jolly, it's hard. I can't calc if you're Jolly or not, because Bullet Seed makes calcing impossible, in my opinion. Because the rolls, and I have to think about everyone, but whatever. So I was like, no, Miss Magus's role in this game, first off, he doesn't have Moth, right? So he doesn't have good switch-ins to this Pokemon period. Secondly, its role into the game is when I get up Stealth Rock to prevent the Rapid Spin. So Spike would have been amazing if I saved it, but I feel like it would have been extremely hard for me to get in, especially at my HP stat, right? And then you went Jolly Talonflame to always outspeed max speed, made perfect sense. Your Scream Tail was there. I actually went. I did the draft league set. I was like, oh, everybody's going to run 343 speed for treads, so I'm going to run 346 to outrun Owen, just in case he runs 344 to predict my 343. So, but like, obviously that wouldn't have helped in most situations. So I was like, okay, screw it. I'm gonna let this die. Then I'll go Ivory, get up rocks, and then versus Great Tusk, I feel like knockoff is just so free versus my team. Like you either kill me or don't. If you go for Rapid Spin, I still have Miss Magus, like as a potential pivot. So I feel like I'd be okay. Yeah.
And there's things you can get up rocks with treads.
Exactly.
Positions like that.
Yeah, it lives Hydro Pump from
on
Rotom.
a Goth sack.
Yeah.
Because on a Goth, you don't worry about like losing to Goth if like I'm some setup set, because you can always just Steel Beam and knock yourself out.
Or Endeavor as well. Exactly. Or Endeavor.
That too.
Yeah. So like, go ahead.
That was why I knocked, obviously, because like Endeavor was cool. I didn't even think of Endeavor. So obviously in my head I'm like, okay, I knock here because even if he stays in attacks, he doesn't really do anything to me. Like at all, especially because he's probably not super invested. I saw Rocky Helmet, he's probably pretty defensive, things like that. I knew my Tusk was like tread switching and my way to kind of, bully and beat it down and things like that.
And get some progress as well.
And it gave free knockouts into other things as well. So I figured knock was pretty free. And then you obviously got me on the pivot on the second one. Because he's sacking it. Oh man, there was a couple plays like that where afterwards I was like, damn it, Owen.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I don't care if you double knock, because if you did, if you double knocked me, whatever.
That's what Mismag's there for.
This Mismag is there to get the Rocky Helmet. I'd still be fast to get the Shadow Ball, and then that would be my free Palafin turn, right? Because I'd be able to flip turn after and kill you, because Bandit is insanely stupid. Obviously, this game that we saw, but. I really like the Gale Wings Talonflame. This was like, again, I think it's perfect Mon into me, because if I am a psychopath and bring Terra Fight Espathra, literally a psychopath, by the way, if I bring Terra Fight Espathra, right, there is zero reason to bring that Mon. Why would I make myself weaker to every other Mon on your team?
It was like my fail safe to it, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't coming. It got revenged by Talonflame. It got potentially trapped by Goth.
Yeah, Scream Tail beats it.
Even Breloom, like, does a chunk with Moss
Yeah, like
Punch,
you do like
whereas it does
50.
nothing.
Yeah.
It does nothing without it. So like, I figured there's probably no reason. I played Terra Fight in one mock, and it obviously didn't do anything. Every other mock was Terra Psychic too, and I think I ran like 10 mocks with 10 different people. So like it was pretty
This was
pretty
this was
guaranteed.
actually the one that I mocked with the most people as well.
Oh yeah.
Funnily enough, because I stopped playing Envy because he started. It's like, oh yeah, well, what if he knows your Steel Beam Endeavor? I'm like, get out of here, bro.
Yeah, I got the team league to do for the game.
Get out of here, bro. But I mean, I do the same thing when I play with him, and I do the same thing when I play with my friends. Like, yo, at this
Even
point,
if
we
it's
have to stop.
subconscious.
Yeah, because basically, I say the same thing. It's like, yo, I gotta stop mocking with you, and not because I don't want to help you, but because I can't help but make certain plays based on what you have.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, 100%. At that point, you just look at the replays with them afterwards. And
Exactly, and
things
talk
like
about
that.
exactly, and analyze and do what you can do from there. So my Sylveon, you see, it's dual screens. Originally, it had Hyper Voice over Wish and Baton Pass. I have Cute Charm. I stared at the dock for 10 minutes with Envy to make sure Cute Charm was not illegal on Sylveon. I didn't want to lose because you fell in love with me. That's not my fault. Like that.
Yeah.
I can't help.
But if you know attacks, why not?
Yeah, I can't help if you love my Sylveon. Like that's just a nice Pokemon. You know, Vaporeon. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have had that part. But in terms of, sorry, stupid Dell.
I know he's been thinking. I don't know. Watch the last 2 games if I'm streaming. Wait a minute.
Whoa, wait a minute. What does he mean by that? Nah, but so originally I had like EV'd it to take Headlong Rush, one Headlong Rush from Max Attack, dude over there, and I had a Hyper Voice, but I never clicked Hyper Voice in mocks ever. I always click Light Screen, Reflect, and Baton Pass. Actually, I barely clicked Reflect. I almost always clicked Light Screen because this mon could take Fiery Dance into Sludge Wave from Iron Moth and free sitting on Screamtail forever, right? Even if you Encore me, who cares? I'll just hard switch into like Treads or something. So being able to wish past like my Endeavormon sounded really cool. Being able to wish past my my Miss Magius sounded really cool too. And you see my Miss Maggie said Shadow Ball, Destiny Ball, and Mystical Fire, right? Thunder Wave was last. But Destiny Bond was like, if I see leftovers on Tusk and I'm confirmed faster, I'll Destiny Bond it. Otherwise, I don't care if it doesn't have recovery, right? But I went Thunder Wave over like Dazzling Gleam because I could eat a hit in a pinch from Iron Moth just in case you chose to bring it. Or technically, this set loses to Spadef, Covert, Cloak, Screamtail because you'll never get Spadef dropped ever. And you will chip me down forever. So I was like, let me up my odds and, you know.
Auto wave it a little bit, yeah, because you get 1 and then you're potentially 3. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. So that was kind of like the logic behind that. And then, obviously, I mean, my Spothra and Mox always won really late games. But that was also because some people started bringing, like, Talonflame plus Iron Moth versus me. So it was really hard for me to Jet Punch at times. Yeah, like just to, you know, I like to test versus every mon just to be safe. I didn't test versus Ursaring though, but I had, you know, theory on how I would beat it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, like Endeavor and then Prey.
It was definitely not a mon that would sit there long term.
That's what I was thinking too. That's
the only scenario I thought of it was in like a lead scenario with like Protect 3 attacks. It could in theory always nab me 1, but there was also leads that didn't let that happen, like a Lucha lead or like a Banded Meow lead or something like that.
Yeah, with low kick like you
Tauros
mentioned, yeah.
And even if Tauros came, like it also required me to predict a lot in the early game, where something like Breloom I could just like see.
No,
or I could just like
I think Sash. Yeah, I think Sash Breloom was 100% really good here. I think originally I had booster energy on the treads, and then I realized, yo, Sash Breloom lead is really annoying. So let's just put Rocky Helmet on this so I can force a few things from there. And then my Palafin, I kind of figured. So was the Rotom just in case I was the same speed as last time, basically?
Yeah, I think speed wise on Rotom, I think I had enough to outspeed like max speed Meow. I want to say, I think is exactly where I went speed wise. I think it's actually like almost the same spread as last time. I tried my best because it's something I struggle with in playoff matchups a lot. I hate building for rematches, and if I have my old team in front of me, I'm gonna put like 4 out of 6
Copy
of them on like
things,
the exact
yeah.
same. So I didn't even look at the old team in the builder. I kind of try to build from with a clean slate, or at least nothing in front of me. I don't know if it's the exact same spread, but I think it's pretty similar. I think
actually it's the exact same spread. It is literally the exact same.
So I think it just worked out that way. Yeah, I think originally I might have been a little bit more defensive for a while, but then I wanted to be a little bit faster because even like late game Meow, if you obviously like Protean into a different typing, it was nice to have it to outspeed in either like Volt or Hydro Pump or whatever I wanted to do. And it's not like Meow takes a Hydro Pump well. It still takes like a good 30 from it. So I figured it was at least somewhat worth it, and I got as much Fizz Def as I really could, because not like something like Palafin isn't going to 2-hit KO me with a
Yeah,
close combat, even if it's not banded. So like I like to be able to take multiple hits, but I'm not going to be able to take 2 from Jhin anyways. So I might as well, you know, get a little bit of speed in there.
Yeah, part of me was like, yo, do I be a Psychopath versus Talonflame and click close combat here like a goat and throw in playoffs?
until
I ran the calc. Until I ran the calc. Also, Rotom taking like 20-30% but coming in, but then I ran the calc and I was like, oh, I still die. Oh, yeah,
especially
basically.
with screens up, it was it was tough. I just in that specific position I said earlier, I just banded was super likely versus me and made a ton of sense. But at the same time, I was like, okay, well, he showed me screens that could obviously help facilitate the bulk up set,
yes.
And my Rotom is chipped enough to where like that can get really bad really
and it can
fast.
Win.
I don't have Wisp on it, and screens are up, so I do nothing with a Thunderbolt at this point. Like I need to punish this, so if it does go ahead and bulk up, I can either sack this, sack something else, and then go into Rotom and try and do something. But it's not gonna go well if he bulks up is at full and there's like 4 turns of each screen left. Like that would have been really bad from there.
I agree completely. So what made was this the original Screamtail? That's what I'm asking. Was this the original Screamtail you thought when when I look at your matchup,
yes.
right? Really? Was it really?
Yeah, I don't know. I really struggled in finding a position to win. And even if it wasn't Screamtail winning, I saw a lot of value off this set immediately because I didn't think a super offensive Treads was going to come.
Yeah.
And me forcing Chip on that thing was incredible for the rest of my team.
Mm-hmm.
If I bulk up on the switch into that thing, I bulk up again, I take like 30% from a heavy stem. Like I take nothing, and at plus 4, I do about... Yeah, at plus 4, I do like 60-70% to like max HP or something like that. I think it's like 60. It doesn't do a ton, but even something like Dragalge, I could always take a hit from that thing, and getting chip on that was really valuable for something like Scarf Rotom or you know, something else in the back like that, or even setting up on something like Hawlucha, which obviously could come as a tusk check and counter and things like that. Or if I get up a couple bulk ups, and even if it's Finn 1v1ing me and clicking Wave Crash, if I get off a +1 play rough into like a Wave Crash chip into like getting off another one if you're banded, or living Wave Crash Jet Punch otherwise, like that's really valuable chip as well. So I either saw it as like a nice little failsafe. I could also take a hit from a Spothra pretty well.
Yeah.
And if you were like Shadow Ball, or even I played a lot of Hex sets, like a lot of T-Wave Hex builds. I could always take a hit from that thing, and if it was like, you know, chipped at all, it was really nice getting that damage off, because then it put in range something like Talonflame, even if it wasn't Terrafighting. So I saw a lot of value just in Screamtail, even if it wasn't straight up winning, but really putting like uncomfortable positions on your team and chipping things down. I think my biggest fault this game was not trying to get it in a little bit earlier. I was a little bit too cute with it, especially when the Meow went down, because that was one of the big ways that obviously kind of stuffs that set with just flower tricking me. But even when that went down, like I think if I tried to position that thing a little bit earlier and didn't tunnel on it just winning the game so much, because I think it did have a slight chance to do so. If I just gotten in earlier, then something else in the back could have potentially done a little bit more work.
I think that's actually completely fair. Yeah, this definitely could have been a lot scarier. I mean, my rationale with staying with Palafin at the end was like, okay, he could be Resto Chesto, A, and B, this guy ain't doing no type of damage to me. That was my thought.
Oh no, your play was to always stay in. Yeah, I mean, like it nuked me. I mean, at that point, if you're bandit, I said in my video, I gotta bulk up. Like I gotta hope for either he switches and chokes. For some reason, I kill and get a crit. I don't even know if crit killed from there, to be completely honest. I don't think it did.
I don't even think it did.
Yeah. So it's either like, I crit and kill because Wave Crash does, the perfect amount of recoil. You choke and switch, which, about it. And if that was the position, then there's, potentially a shot, especially, and I said out loud in the video too, I was like, okay, if I can use this to chip down the Espathra, or like if I can kill this, my out in this game is killing this Palafin, which doesn't happen, but say I do, then say Espathra comes out, and I get a player off on it if it's not protect, and I'm able to do a lot of damage, and then get into my Gothitelle, potentially mirror code it, Dark Pulse down, whatever. If it's no attack Sylveon, I can win. And it was no attack Sylveon, but obviously it was that Palafin kind of stuffing that potential endgame, which there wasn't really a way out at that point with no Scarf on the Rotom, unfortunately. I think that was the biggest play I'm kicking myself over.
Yeah, not having
tricking.
Yeah, I mean, it literally. Again, it makes sense because if I'm Wish Hyper Voice dual screens, right? Or like if I'm just Hyper Voice dual screen, well, Wish it would have to be Wish Hyper Voice dual screens at this point. But if I'm Wish Hyper Voice dual screens, basically I could sit on Goth like you said. I could sit on Rotom on non-tricked and then like kind of win from there. So I get the rationale. I really like this Goth with the Psyshock. Because obviously I still have stored power. If you get me on a Mirror Coat turn, sick, right? And you have other attacks to attack. So I really, really actually like this Goth set a lot. This one, and I think Imprison stored power. Imprison Calm Mind was another one. I
did toy with Imprison. It was really hard because if you didn't bring Calm Mind, I felt a lot more boned and a little bit more like out of place because it was hard for me to fit something, right? Because if I don't have Dark Pulse and you're Roost, I just lose to you. If you're not Calm Mind and I don't have Mirror Coat, I also just lose to you potentially because I can't. Or if you're not Calm Mind and you're Mirror Coat, or I don't have Mirror Coat, I can also just lose to you. You can kind of just overwhelm me and chip me down. There's not really a way I can.
No, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, makes perfect sense.
So that was the middle ground. I tested Imprison, I think, in 1 or 2 mocks. Me and my buddy Kaz sat and really tried to super lab out a Goth, and it was tough. We felt like these were the 4 that could hopefully stop a Spothra with, like, Scream obviously not being the check and then not being 4-8 because it can get exploited by Calm Mind. Despite being able to stuff, like, Lumina Crash sets decently well. Not great, to be completely honest, but decently well.
Yeah, and, like, I mean, and if had you been on this set, like, let's say you just Wish Protect Encore, like, if you had Encored into Goth, I guess that could have been cool too, but that also means you probably would have been outsped by my Palafin and just die. Because I feel like if you run the support one that you ran last time with Parasong, which did come in mocks as well, it still dies after Stealth Rock, right? After 2 turns Stealth Rock, which you took, it dies to Wave Crash. That's why, like, originally I had Jolly Palafin. I was like, screw Hydreigon. I don't care about you. You suck versus me. And I'll be completely honest. I think Hydreigon sucks because, like, if I'm Terra Psychic, I have Dazzling Gleam, and if I'm Calm Mind, you don't beat me. If you're physical, whatever.
I mean, you outpace me immediately if I'm Scarf. Half of the offense all outsped me too, which is really tough. So I'm kind of forced into Scarf if I bring it, and it's not like Scarf can ever really lock into a move either. Yeah. Like Scarf really struggles with that. It outspeeds the Fat at the bottom, but I mean, 2 out of 4 of those Mons I just lose to.
Yeah.
Knuckle plus Sylveon. So
I like that. I like that Nachi was
somebody brought it in a mock. I think it was Dell brought it in a mock, and I was like, "Why did you bring this?" He goes, "He hasn't brought it yet." And I was like, "Okay, I'm ready for it now. Don't bring that against me again." It was annoying too. It chipped down the Tusk a little bit, and it made it to where I died to a hit later or something like that. So it did some work in the mock.
I mean, it's a Talonflame counter on this team.
Yeah, that too. And I remember getting so annoyed when I saw it too. It was like 2 in the morning. I said Knuckle Stack on my screen. It said the 1 flying plus Flare Blitz resist. It checks the Talon and he hasn't brought it. Dude, damn it. And I think I actually ended up like really, really struggling that mock. So it was something that was in my mind for sure.
Yeah, little Nachi. Boy might just be sitting on the bench. Who knows though? It's
Every
like
team needs a cheerleader.
It's a Mon though that actually looks decent on paper, but if I bring it, I can't bring something else, right? That's basically it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
it's like the crux with low tiers.
Yeah, literally.
I mean, same thing with like something like an Ursa Ring or something like that. Like he's good in a lot of matchups, but would I rather bring my Rotom? Probably.
Yeah, literally. That's how it goes. The one Scream Tail I fought was Booster Energy, Encore, Calm Mind, Psyshock, Fire Blast, which was really cool. But then plus 3, 4 Psyshock did like 50% to Spothra. So I was like, okay.
And then a Calm Mind and the game's over.
It encored me, and I just got faster and faster, and then just stored power Terra Psychic. So like, it was interesting. Like I went Flash Cannon because super effective versus Scream Tail, but mainly to hit Hydreigon because I'm EV to not be 2-hit KO'd by Dark Pulse with 2 Calm Minds, which I get, right? I Calm Mind first, you go Hydreigon, I Calm Mind again. Yeah, like, and then I get that, and you never 2-hit KO me, and I 2-hit KO you. So I don't know. It definitely didn't start here. Like my Miss Magius was stronger, but then I came in on knockoff and died. Gyro Ball from Fortress did like 86% to me at a point. I was like, no, my spin blocker cannot be dying to a Pokemon that's gonna switch out.
To the Spinmon,
yeah, like straight up.
Usually not good.
Yeah, it was, but this is definitely the game I did. I think the most mocks. And also,
for sure.
I modified the team after every single mock, like literally EV spread wise. And
I mean,
this
says round 1 versus you version 2, but it wasn't. It was just the second paste I had because the first build blew. And I completely scrapped it and went to the next one. This team probably went through 10 plus changes, like overall. Like it was a lot. I think even in the original build, I had like some weird DD Sash lead Hydreigon, and that was the only thing I could
somebody used that versus me too.
Oh, really?
With acrobatics.
Yeah. No, I kind of thought about it, and I was like, no, I can't, because there's just, I don't know, there was just too much, and it was hard to get it going.
Yeah.
And the Meowly just U-turns, and then it dies to whatever comes in anyways.
So that's what I thought too. The problem with Cheese versus me is that I have a Palafin. So, and Palafin's basically
too much priority to stop it.
I don't care about your Cheese. I'm going to Jet Punch or kill you with Wave Crash. So I literally fought that type of Hydreigon.
Jet Punch, that's like even like cheesy like defensive setup, like something with Meow always stuffs that too, usually. Like Meow, or at least in the builder.
Yeah, because Flower Trick just stops the setup.
I mean, like banded Meow was such an issue for that Screamtail to like ever do anything, and I played it multiple times in mocks because again, something like Fortress, it comes in and takes a hit, but like I get knocked and I'm at like
knocked and that's
60.
it. Yeah,
I'm at like 60 rocks are up. I get two
a KO next time.
So that's like not really a super big point. Yeah. I got like Rocky Helmet chip out of it, and I think that's kind of like where I saw the issue with Fortress in the last time we played.
Makes sense. It's just too passive to bring it versus me. It makes a lot of sense, and it just gets worn down too easily. It's not like it's hard for me to spin because you don't have a ghost type, right? So like, I think also like that was the thing about Talonflame.
Spikes were great here, but I couldn't keep them away.
Yeah,
like
literally.
Spikes were really good here if I could keep them up.
Yeah, but you can't.
Wasn't really a position. Even if I'm like adamant offensive, like Earthquake, or even like body press, like Trez just eats it up.
Yeah, you take too much, and then I mean last time like the Rocky Helmet wore it down, and Earthquake wore you down, and you're basically forced to bring Rocky Helmet too. I think on Fortress as well because you need a punishment for Palafin, which is did you calc how much Adamant Choice Band Wave Crash did to max defense Fortress? 60 to 70%.
It did 2 KOs, yeah.
Easily, like it's insane.
Super easy to a KO, or if you're just bulk up, you just smash me
and set up on it.
Easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I could get a slow Volt Switch, but at that point, why am I not using Rotom?
Literally,
so
I get it.
Exactly. It was tough to bring. Like, if it came, again, I toyed around with it for a Spother, but it only beat like the Lumina Crash sets, but it didn't ever touch like fat Calm Mind sets or even fat Lumina Crash sets with Roost. It couldn't really beat super well because it just Roost stalls my things like the fucking Espeon in week 7. So that was tough, and obviously it gets beat down by the Finn. Really, all of your other offense beats it, and even all of your other fat beats it. It quite literally only checked the Meowscarada, and it did a very bad job of it. So it was tough to bring
I
Corey.
agree. And like you can't really punish Meow with Flame Body Talonflame because Flame Body's really good versus Palafin, but if you don't get that 30%, you get knocked. Stealth Rock are up. And if you get knocked, you actually you can get 2-shot potentially. I can keep up hazards, and I 100% think you need Gillings, like we mentioned before, right? Good emergency check to Palafin, good emergency check to Meow.
Even set up Luchas. My team was super weak to set up Lucha.
Exactly.
This one I brought this week was super weak to set up Lucha, especially if I'm using Rotom for Palafin. I don't want to take a +2 close combat. I don't even know if I can after like 1 rock switch, and so there's not a lot of Lucha counterplay on this team. If you did decide to go with like some Sword Stance like Citrus or some kind of item, I think I even played Weakness Policy Lucha in a mock. Like there were some annoying things I ended up playing. So I figured that the Gale Wings was pretty clutch, or even like endgame Meowscarada. Like if you're not like a lead set and you're like just
clicking flower
every
trick,
single time,
trick.
Literally something to kill that thing. I don't have defensive counterplay to the team that I brought in particular, so I needed something in the back for it.
I literally think your 6 is the best 6, and I think with the you could potentially make a case for Iron Moth, but I don't.
It was
think
6 Mon for sure, or 7th Mon.
Yeah, literally. What would you have brought if you did? Because like I said, Scarf was really good versus me week 2, especially because I threw away my mouse.
Left in the Meow. Yeah. I mean, if that happened again, that would have been awesome. I probably said I brought. I don't know. It was really tough. I toyed around with like some booster sets to see if they could like lead and just kind of break through, but there was a lot of builds that just I didn't have the coverage that I really wanted. Plus the Meow just outspeeds me and does a ton of damage. I can't really be booster speed and break through anything. And something like Dragalge just like absolutely
sits, especially because you have to Terra Poison too, which is crazy. I mean Terra Water, excuse me.
Yeah, or I just get rocked by the thing. So it's not like I can really resist any Sludge Bomb coming my way. And it sets up a T. It can even like if I'm booster, it can like sit there and set up a T-Spike on me and then attack me and put me in range of the Meowscarada. Because one Sludge Bomb puts me in range of knockoff like very easily. So it was really tough. I probably would have brought in Scarf again if I brought it. I think I tested with that again. But with the prior knowledge that you had, obviously playing that set before.
It would be in my head. Yeah. Like I mean, my guys were EV to take always like type of things as well.
Oh yeah. So like there is no like there's not as much dedicated Iron Moth like counterplay on this team, but obviously it does a very good job at killing it and getting it out of sight, out of mind. Plus, again, just looking at the matchup, you kind of have to make calls like that and things like that. And
Yeah.
weak to certain things that, you know, probably wouldn't have been weak to in the first matchup, but just kind of with that background knowledge and knowing and going into a rematch, I always think it's great to prepare for everything, but sometimes you need to make your team a little bit more specific.
For sure.
If you're too general in your build, then you're just going to get overwhelmed. And I felt like that was kind of something I had to do in this game with things like Meow, Palafin, Spothor really just doing me dirty on matchup. I felt like I kind of had to get a little bit more specific with my prep and just kind of offensively position around different things.
No, I agree. I agree completely with you. And it's also I was like, man, screw it. Screens, strong Pokemon this week. Let's do it.
And the screens, like I said, the screens, it wasn't even like the setup in the back that ended up screwing me. Like, obviously, Spothor, that's, you know, probably one of the main purposes for it, but just like screens plus the idea of Palafin bulking up.
Yeah, exactly.
Sack off one of my best Pokemon in the matchup because like I lose if I don't.
If I bulk up right there, I literally win because Rotom took the damage. Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree with you. All right. Last question. Playoff picture, dude. So who do you have winning for the other slots? So we have, and I mean I know we know one of the results, but try
like matchup wise and sure.
Try to go like So we have
a little bit less objective.
Yeah, exactly. So we have J-Bear versus Mephisto, and then we have Amo versus Envy, and John Jr. versus Kirby. So just really quick, what do you think about the matchups and how would you? I just figured I'll ask if I somehow win next round, I'll ask them as well about the finals matchup. But I think it's really cool to get your. I think it's cool to get your idea. So, what do you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. J-Bear versus Mephisto. I think that matchup's actually a lot closer than I've heard other people. Like I know John put out a video, kind of talking about the BBR playoff picture.
Yeah.
I think that matchup's a lot closer than John was saying. But I do still kind of lean J-Bear. I think Bax goes absolutely crazy.
I think Bax is broken. Mephisto. I think Bax is broken, man.
It's an there's just no counterplay, especially with like nerfed bad pecs or worse pecs. It's really tough. I think there's a couple ways that Mephisto can super overwhelm J-Bear, but he has to play really offensive and has to get off on the front foot really quick. I think actually his best mons in the matchup are Espeon Cloyster, which is really funny. It's like his two lower tiered Pokemon. But those look really good, and I think if Mephisto brings like Terra Steel, he's going to be in a much better spot than Terra Normal. I don't think he's done that this season, but I think that could really help him out. John versus Kurt.
This is interesting. John is such a good team.
Yeah, John has some really scary Pokemon, and like it might be one of the best Champ Pound matchups like of the season. Kurt really doesn't have good counterplay to it. Even something like Gambit, after a little bit of chip, like Chopo just gets rocked by Sacred Sword. It really just needs like one crunch and a spike up, and things are looking bad for Kurt. So I think that Pokemon alone gives him a really good shot. But it realistically, if you look at Kurt's team with Bundle plus Volk, it goes absolutely crazy. Even with like the triple water shenanigans that he has, and Dozo to kind of check the Volk. Dozo checks Volk, but it also doesn't immediately threaten really bulky sets. And if John can if Kurt can pressure it with like potential hazards and even something like Sand chipping it down if he goes Hippo, I think once that Dozo is chipped, Volt can super win. Bundle just claims a KO every time it comes in if Kurt can position offensively. I think I kind of lean Kurt because I don't think John's team is super scared of Kurt outside of the POW. And Goldango's pretty scary as well. Like I think Scarf Gold is pretty good into that team. But
I think if John Jr. had teleport on Slowbro, like if it still had teleport, I think it would save this matchup so much because he'd literally bring you in on and teleport out and just bring out POW and just click button. I agree with you in terms of like matchup wise. And Dozo doesn't even beat Volk because it just Terra waters and clicks Giga Drain, right? Which is not bad at all. Or Bug Buzz, which is not. I mean, Giga Drain's amazing versus his team. Quackable, Slowbro. Why does he have so many waters?
He had triple water. It's triple water John Jr. I think he had Salazzle originally, and he hated Salazzle on the team, which I didn't think it was that terrible. So he dropped it for Dozo. But especially mons like Dozo, Slowbro, I think they're a little bit redundant with each other. Now they can obviously do the same things, but like really physically defensive water is how I see both of them in a nutshell. So I don't know. Dozo can kind of soft check and at least take a hit and maybe yawn it, but also like Bug Buzz drop into Giga Drain like just makes it to where Rest can't beat it.
Agreed.
At all.
Yeah.
So it can kind of just sit there, and it could even set up on it potentially. So, and then last one's Amo Envy.
This one's such a fun. This is gonna be such a game. I can't wait to watch this
really
rematch.
Good one. I think the Dragonite obviously does really well because Dragonite always does well because it's super broken. I think Terra Flying is much better in this specific matchup. Like Terrifying Terrablast plus like Earthquake really does a number to this team. But Amel also really struggles in Awake. Like really struggles in Awake with like Hazards up and Sun up. I think Hydro Steam is super free into this team. I think his water resist is a non-Terra Dragonite and a Tauros water.
Yeah.
So
Max Bit of Florges with boots, well, leftovers can take it, but if it's boots and it's specs, it doesn't take 2 guaranteed, which is really fun.
Really? Okay.
So it needs leftovers.
Yeah, and then if it's not boots and MV ends up getting up
a hazard,
rocks or spike with the Ting Lu that exists,
yeah.
it's gonna be really tough for Amel to like try and take hits from this thing, and he doesn't really have much to super immediately revenge it. Like the water typing is really clutch here. Something like Scizor can't really revenge it. Jet Tauros obviously doesn't do anything, and if it's not Terra Normal D-Knight, E-Speed honestly does like probably not that much immediately unless it's like banded. So I think the Wake plus even Slitherwing coming in and just U-turning and getting in the Wake on what's even the switch? I guess Rotom would be the best pivot.
Yeah, Rotom fan. I think Rotom fan has to come 100%. Like this is literally a Rotom fan. Otherwise, MV gets the free bulk up Slitherwing win if it is bulk up, and he could run bulk up U-turn as well. Right, like bulk up U-turn is you don't need anything besides Terra Blast flying. Right, you run flying in this game, and you just click flying.
Either Terra Blast flying or like an acro set if you don't.
Literally there.
Or if you're reserved to killing the Rotom first or putting it in.
Because Amel doesn't. Yeah,
isn't the hardest.
Actually, Terra Fly aggro isn't even bad because Amel doesn't have Stealth Rock on his team.
Nope, not at all.
I will say, I played MV in a mock, and I brought Lechonk once just to put the fear of Lechonk on him.
Oh, and you won the mock, right? Yeah.
Did I win the mock? I think I did. But the point was that Lechonk took a little hit and clicked yawn, and that's all that mattered.
That is what he did all season. I mean, it's cool to see Lechonk come, but realistically, I think against Delicate, super sick. But like even against me when it came against Matt, it got burned by the pult and forced it out with a yawn, and then the
get forced out by the pig. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, and I think that's the biggest thing with Amel is like. I hate playing it. I love playing Amel. I hate playing Amel because the things that he thinks of and does just blow my mind. And obviously, like, Amel's a good friend of mine, so I know, like, some of the stuff he brought. And, like, it's not, like, a spoiler in the game that goes, he brought Black Glasses Toad Scroll.
Yeah, for foul play.
And I remember I talked to him, I was like, is Extra Belt not better? Like, don't you get the same thing into the Bramble with foul play, and then you can hit the Torkoal harder.
But it's the 2 KO Slither.
Black Glass. He's like the Slither. I was like, I wouldn't have thought of that shit.
Yeah,
I would not have thought of that.
I was testing with Envy a lot, and I brought Toad Score. And I had foul play on it originally, but I wasn't doing enough damage. So Black Glass is actually a really sick call. And the way Amel tests, and he actually offered to mock with me early in the season, but he ended up playing my friends most of the season, so it was kind of hard to do that. But I definitely want to do mock with him in the future. But I know he creates the team that he thinks is best versus him, and gives them the people, and then makes them mock it.
No, I'll get a DM like once a week with the poke paste, and I'll be like, "You want me to mock you with it?" He's like, "Yeah," and it's the funniest thing because and I'll be like, "You want me to make you a build?" He's like, "No, I'm good." I'm like, "All right, man, whatever works for you."
Yeah, I mean, if he knows his stuff, if he has, because I think he just needs to figure out how to pilot it, and he's good. One thing that I think is a sleeper on Amel's team, that's actually really good. Ice Cube is good here, and not your standard Snowscape. Belly Drum Head Smash, Liquidation Spinner. You literally
just to put the
you get one kill.
If forcing that Torkoal too is
you forcing Torkoal,
if you
get the kill.
That in and
you get the kill. It dies.
Then no more.
Right,
that's a super sick idea.
And it's really hard for Envy to switch into that because all of his switch-ins are physical, and Zone is like a can I bring Zone this game with Armarouge, Toad Scroll, Dragonite Earthquake type of thing. So and also the fact that it could be Hisuian Zoroark. Like for instance. Envy might fear the freeze dry set just because it's so good into Wake, right? So if it sets up versus Ting Lu, it gets a kill, type of thing. So like, I just think it's like there's some really
Torkoal,
good.
Especially if you see, I think the initial pivot is always, even if it is special set with like Surf or something like that, it's not gonna do that much.
100%. Yeah.
And
it lost Whirlpool.
It
lost Whirlpool as well, which actually really hurts, I think, in terms of that. But thank you, dude. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. That was we had a really long 36-minute, like a less than 20-minute game, 36-minute interview. But who cares? This is the final game of the season. I want you to, say whatever you want. So if you have any closing words, whatever you want to say, let them know what's going to be uploaded on your channel from now on. You can see your draft, all that stuff. This is like your floor right now. So say whatever you want, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure. I appreciate you having me on. Like Joey said, I upload a lot of draft. I have 2 leagues coming next season of the BBR whenever this one is over, and I'll also be playing in another Wi-Fi draft league, so summertime, a little bit more time. But I also really do enjoy uploading like draft league discussion videos, or even just like competitive discussion videos in general, more edited stuff. I do a lot of Twitter discussions, and let you guys kind of pilot the conversation. I love talking about the theory of draft and the building aspect, and more behind the scenes stuff. So if you want to learn more about draft, I think I'm a pretty good resource with that. Yeah. Again, I appreciate you having me on, though, and good luck with the rest of the playoffs.
No, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, obviously, in the league as well. You, D-Ray, everybody. It's been a blast, and I appreciate you always coming through whenever we do the watch together. So,
for sure.
But guys, check out Owen. His channel link will be down below. Please subscribe to him. He's over 2,000 subs. Getting 3,000. Maybe I shouldn't say at the end of the video, let's get him 3,000 subs. Maybe I should say that at the beginning of the video. But let's try to get him 3,000 subs. Great content, like he said. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, guys.